Yes, yes, yeah. Welcome back to another episode of the Klyph Notes podcast. On this one, I get a chance to chop it up with someone who has made so many amazing contributions to hip-hop culture, hip-hop music. He runs Street Corner Music. He's an amazing DJ and creative ear. And we had a chance to just chop it up, man. Talking about new release from Mike and Keys that has been a long time coming, and he gets into that in terms of how long they've been working on this project that you have access to now. You know what I mean? Formula One is available, streetcornermusic.com. But we get into a lot of stuff, man. And I think you're really going to dig this conversation. Honored to share with you this episode of the Klyph Notes podcast with my guest, DJ House Shoes. Support for the Klyph Notes podcast comes from Akepele Apparel, an idea born from a love of hip-hop, funk, and soul music and its surrounding cultures. With fashion being a huge visual part of the cultures, they've created expressive images to pay homage, invoke nostalgia, and showcase the elements that make up the lifestyle and cultures of these genres. Akepele, apparel for the music lifestyle. For more information, check out akepele.com. That's AKEPELE.com. Peace, world. She got DJ Klyph, man, back at it. Interviews galore, kicking off the 1st of February here in 2023, and just super excited and honored to have an opportunity to chop it up with somebody who is so influential to this art form that I love, who's been doing it for a minute. I'm at such a high level, and it's cool to have him here with me. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for DJ House Shoes. What up, B?
What's good, brother? Thank you for having me, bro. Gratitude, absolutely.
Bro, look, I'm just, like I said, bro, for real. I'm just really, really honored. So a couple things, man. First off, how are you? You know what I'm saying? I've learned, if nothing else, through this whole pandemic situation, to just tap in with people on some really real, bro. How you doing?
I'm cool, man. There's good days and there's bad days. I like to say that it's really tiring doing this shit like one man team. But I mean, basically, saying all that to say it could be better, but it could always be worse. You know
Say
what I
that.
mean?
Yes.
So I'm grateful to wake up this morning. You know what I mean? My kids are coming over in a few hours. I'm ecstatic. So it's a good day. You know what I'm saying?
I
And
dig it.
we have to appreciate our good days. I've come to see that for some reason the way our brains are wired, we absorb the negative so much more than the positive. So that's something I've really been trying to work on. Is just being grateful every day. 1 minute at a time. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. You said something that made me want to ask, man. How old is Street Corner Music?
This is the 10th year of Street Corner Music.
Wow, bro. Like
Yeah, the
that's a
10 year.
celebration for real.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to figure it out because there's not too many celebrations, unfortunately. It's kind of just yeah, even with the Mike and Keys, like I've been working on that for a couple years now, and it's finally in the world, and it's like, what's next?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not really a emotional response anymore, and it's kind of frustrating, but I try to not get too wrapped up in it. Just keep it going.
Yeah. Well, talk about that, man. Talk about the Mike and Keys project that drops. What's the official release date? The 17th?
The digital it hits DSPs on the 17th. The physical is available now, streetcornerscm.com. Records, tapes. We got some merch also. I met Mike and Keys through my homie Phonics, who's a producer in the industry as well. It was like his kid's birthday party, maybe like God, 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago. Just met him in passing. I had heard about the Futuristics, and we would talk sparingly. You know what
Mm,
I mean?
mm,
Maybe a couple years after that, the homie Bink, shout to Bink,
mhm,
VA producer. You know,
mhm.
Blueprint, all that. He pulled up looking for some samples. I gave him a stack of records, and it was kind of taking him a minute to get the records back. So he gave him the mic and keys, and that kind of started the conversation up again when we linked up to get my records back. And we never really properly connected,
Mhm,
unfortunately, until after Nipsey passed.
mhm, mhm.
And maybe within the month after he passed, I met up with them at the studio, and it was crazy. I walk in the studio, and they got the console there, and there's one of the Dilla dolls right next to the console. And Mike goes, the first thing Nip would do every time he comes in the studio is dap up Dilla.
Oh,
And I'm like,
wow.
come on. I'm like, come on, bro. Like,
Yes,
and
yes.
then he looks me in my eyes and he says, we want to do a record on Street Corner Music.
Wow. Just like
And
that.
I'm like, yeah, it wasn't even me. Like, I always go after people, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And he set the table for me. And I was like, well, guess what you about to do? And they started sending folders and all the records on Street Corner. Like
Yeah.
I tell people, I'm very heavy handed with. It's kind of like I build my version of you.
Mhm.
You can't just submit a project to me and I'll put it out. You got to send folders. It's been upwards of hundreds and hundreds of beats for some of these records that I've gone through, and I pick out the joints to make me feel something, and we sequence them, and then I get an idea for the artwork. So it's kind of all me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Having that
it's
creative. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
it's just super personal, and so you could even say it's selfish, but it is what it is.
But having that creative process, I, you've been doing this long enough to see the changes and the beauty in access and people being able to create in their own spaces and put a lot of content out. But the flip side of that is music is it doesn't necessarily have the same, I mean, and this is just my opinion, doesn't necessarily have the same soul because I feel like we don't spend as much time with it. So with the
Right,
creative process that you just described, having a chance to really sit with art and have it be something that is potentially long lasting,
right.
is that, is that a part of the mindset, or is it you just work the way you work?
Uh, I just feel that I can do this a lot better than a lot of people. I mean,
Mhm.
we're talking about like minutes. Like I can go through 100 beats in 20 minutes
Yeah.
and have it down to like 25, and then we do another trim to get it down to like 18 just to space it right for the timing we're allowed it on a piece of vinyl.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm grateful that people trust me. I'm super honored that these artists have given me a shot with their music. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And the greatest moments are not when the records come out. The greatest moments are when a kid gets his box of records and opens it up for the first time and holds his music physically in his hand. This
Yeah.
was a reaction to digital streaming and SoundCloud, and a kid being happy with just putting his music up and getting some hearts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But all of that can go away. You can't trust technology. I went to China a few years ago, and when they got their new president or whatever they call him, like 10 years ago,
Mhm.
he pressed a button and all that went away.
Yeah.
And you hear stories about people that drop their hard drive and everything's gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a very low ceiling, and I do it to protect my heart, because I love this so much. But the only goal is really existence. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And taking a kid that's never had a record out and getting them a record. And it's crazy incredibly how incredibly poor a lot of incredible creatives self-image, and the way they look at themselves, and their confidence is usually not there. So let's just give them a little bit more confidence and pat them on the back and keep it moving. I don't own any of these records.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
don't own anybody else's music. That's the devil. You know what I mean? Like, I, and it's the complete opposite. I've never done a W-9 for any of my artists. I'm paying all their taxes. When I do payouts, I round up to the closest $100.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
I do. I
Yeah.
absolutely
So
do.
I just want to give them the best ride possible, and just push their energy out into the world a little bit more and hope it catches.
That's such a beautiful thing, bro, because I feel like I've been really, really reflective. It's interesting. I was talking to I talked to Rhett and Rawls last week, and
Okay.
talking about their record coming out, and I was
Right.
sharing with them, man. I think some of it is just being a classic and appreciating um, the love of this art form and thinking
Right.
back to how it started, and it was really about that. It was about just putting good energy into the world and finding ways to connect with other people who do that. And I so love that you shared it that way. That I mean, that's what it's about. It's not about the commerce. It's about the art, which
Right.
I think is so dope.
Yeah.
But talk to me about the
Money,
record, bro. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
money ruins everything.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And I'm damn near 50 years old in a one-bedroom apartment. It's not really working.
Mhm.
But, knock on wood, man, one day at a time.
Exactly, bro. One foot in front of the other. That's for real. Talk to me about the record though, man. Talk to me about the sonically, what is this record that you folk put together? And
Well, this is Formula One is the first of many with
mm,
Mike and Keys. And
okay.
it's, we're making documents. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to be here forever. What's going to be here when we're not here anymore? So these beats on this record are like, at least probably 5 years old.
Hmm.
We're starting around 2016, and we're going to gradually get closer and closer to the current moment. But the joints that really stuck to me, I see like maybe 90% of this record, you could hear Nipsey on the joints.
Wow.
It's devastating. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It
Yeah.
could have been the follow up. So that's what was in my mind while I was going through the folders. And man, there's a joint on there called Hove. There's a Jay-Z song over that beat that
Hmm.
no one's ever gonna hear.
Yeah.
And when Mike was pressing play on the joints, he brought that up, and I was like, "Can we get that?" And when you hear it, it's like you could hear Jay-Z. I want to hear the song. I
Yeah.
want to you can almost hear it without hearing him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Formula One, first of many. We're gonna start sending folders back and forth again very soon, and get going on the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. You know what I'm saying?
What an exciting thing to look forward to. The way that you describe it, that even in 2023, we get to go back a little bit and hear this music catch up to wherever we are in that process when those dates line up. Such a really cool concept.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're never gonna hear the best music in the world because the people that are really the best are really the best. They don't care
Hmm.
about sharing.
Hmm.
There's some kid in his bedroom that's better than anybody. So
Right.
those are the spaces that I always try to. So much falls between the cracks, and I'm just trying to catch as much as I can.
Yeah.
Even with Mike and Keys, them being incredible and top shelf industry producers, you know how much music you'll never hear from them.
Yeah.
And when artists themselves start picking out their music, uh, instead of me, there's a lot that can get lost in the sauce because they think the reasons are not necessarily as important as just respecting the form
Yeah.
and documenting it and leaving it for everybody else to enjoy. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. So many are. It's funny because you can think about and I know you've had more conversations than I have of artists who have made records, and they talk about that. Yeah, I got 2 or 3 albums that are done. Or just I'm trying to figure out what to do with them, and thinking, man, I want to hear them.
Right.
Like, put them out. Like, But
Right. Absolutely.
that's a part of the artistic process. It seems that when it's time to release it, you release it, and otherwise it sits and waits for its time.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's gestating.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Um, releasing this record now, times are very, very interesting, in terms of how to get music into people's hands and ears and have it not get lost in so much content. That the way that we consume music now is different, right? So as you're working on, okay, I'm putting this project out. What are your thoughts? Like, what's the plan for making sure that it's getting to people's ears?
There is no plan.
Mm. I hear you.
You know what I mean? Like it's like I'm gonna set the table. I've been doing this for 10 years. I set the table every time. If you want to sit down and have a good meal, you sit down and have a good meal.
Yeah.
If you want some McDonald's, take your ass to McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is country fried steak from the steakhouse over here with
Yeah.
mushroom gravy on top. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like,
Right.
it's fire, and I just can't get caught up in all of that. With digital, we drop a couple singles, and then we are actually working on, me and my homie Shanti are working on like a mini doc that we're putting together. He's got all the footage. He interviewed Mike, he interviewed Keys, he interviewed me. And I don't know if you probably saw the clip. It's
Hmm.
crazy.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
I got kind of emotional because he put it so well, like the Bobby Knight thing. Like, a
Yeah.
lot of people feel some kind of way about shoes. I'm a very it's either one or the other. It's like love or hate, you know, and I love that. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
There's no in between. You either are all in or you're all out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people got feelings because I don't bite my tongue. Uh, Nobody talks about anything that's really that important
Hmm.
anymore. And
Hmm.
when I feel it's not just music, it's politics, it's food, anything, I'm aggressively passionate. And he said, Shoes is like Bobby Knight. He was
Yeah.
an aggressive coach, but he got the best out of his players.
Yeah.
And that shit made me really emotional. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because once again, people either love or hate Bobby Knight. It
Yeah.
ain't no middle ground.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll take it. It's nothing wrong with being like divisive.
Yeah.
There's a real negative connotation to that word, and there's nothing really wrong with it. You got to pick a team.
It's interesting too, bro, because I think we all, and no matter what we do, I think in terms of profession or whatever the case may be, we walk that line of trying not to step on toes and trying. I mean, and I think now the pendulum is swung so far with cancel culture and this, that, and the third that you just got to make sure you're not offending anyone. But I think the sad part about that is you never really know people's heart, right? You never really get a chance to see people's character because no one is ever their true selves. And so I think that's commendable to stand on who you are and what you believe, and like you said, take it or leave it.
Yeah, it's like I always thought it was really whack that somebody would want to make a song that everybody likes.
Mm,
Like, I understand it, but just what you have to do, you know how much water you got to put in that glass
mm-hmm,
with the juice and the spices. Like, you can't taste nothing. There's nothing there.
mm-hmm,
Like, don't do that.
yeah,
Don't do that. Be who you are 100%. Don't figure out how much water you got to put in your own body to be more relevant to people that aren't going to really care anyway.
yeah.
It's 100,000 songs a day.
Wow,
100,000 songs a day are being uploaded to DSPs. That is disgusting
that's crazy.
because 99,000 of them are going to be trash. Like, it's devastating, man.
Yeah, it's
There's no quality control
yeah,
on anything, and I'm all about quality control. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
100%.
Well, and the tough thing too is because then you have creators who are making content and they have no, there's no one there to I guess just as you say to give them a sense of check and balance, right? Because I can just make it and put it out and
Right.
move on. Um,
You know how
Eddie,
many friends I've lost because we used to just be really good friends, and like we play basketball and smoke, drink, listen to music, watch movies, and then all of a sudden they want to be a rapper, and
mm-hmm,
it's changed to them coming over my house just playing me their music every time.
mm-hmm,
And it's like, bro, I'm your friend, homie.
yeah,
Like, stop that.
yeah,
I've lost multiple relationships have gone down the toilet because of that.
yeah,
And it is what it is. I'm
yeah.
not an opportunity. Like, a lot of people look at me like, oh man, maybe shoes. I'm like, nah, man. Like, I'll let you know. You don't let me know. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yo, let me take a second, bro, to say thank you. I don't remember if you put something out or if I just reached out to you and you sent me a link to you sent me a Dropbox link, bro. Bro, I still haven't gotten
That,
through all that music yet, man.
bro, that it ain't no. There's no budget for marketing and promotion.
Yeah.
Like, if I hire a PR agency to do a campaign on a record, that's gonna take anywhere from like 50 to 75% of all the profits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I come in contact with like minds, whether it's someone like you reaching out, radio is definitely a priority.
Yes.
But me drunk after a set, spinning in a club somewhere like in Denver, I
Hmm.
got a circle of kids around me, and I'm like, yo, email me house shoes at Gmail and
Yeah.
put catalog in the top, and you're gonna wake up tomorrow. It's gonna be like Christmas,
Yep.
and play it for all your friends and give it to all your DJ homies. You
Yep.
know what I mean? It's
Yep.
very grassroots organic.
That's what's up, bro. The um the project as you're putting it out, you mentioned it. Like people have an opportunity to get their hands on physical, tangible vinyl merch, like the whole nine. I mean, you guys really went in on what you're making available to folk.
What, for the Formula One?
Yeah, for the Formula One joint.
Yeah. And it's all like super last minute. Like, oh, like a week before the first, we announced the record. Like, oh, we need merch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have a couple people around me that can help me expedite things.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt.
You know,
Let me ask you this, bruh. So, the well, let me say this first. The live stream. So you do your Twitch live stream Monday and Wednesdays,
hmm
bruh.
magic, 8 hours. Full shift,
That's what I'm
nine
about
to
to say,
five.
bro. Come on, man. Like you go in. I can't even get through a
It's
whole joint.
it's funny because I got homies that are like, man, like how can you do that? And I'm like, how can't you do that?
Well,
Like I got a lot of homies, their ceiling is like 2-3 hours, and
yeah,
then they're like washed. I'm like, I've played 8.5 hour sets in real life
that's
in
crazy.
venues.
That's
You know what I mean? And
crazy,
they were
bro.
supposed to close at like 3 o'clock, and we
Yeah.
go till 7:30 in the morning.
Wow, dude. Wow. The one of the things that
It's definitely an escape though. Like the Twitch came out of the pandemic,
yeah.
us watching the world burn to the ground, and I just needed to once again selfish.
Hmm.
Primary focus is myself.
Hmm.
I needed to make a space where I could just escape.
Yeah.
It's an escapist thing, and then let's build this space for like-minded people,
Hmm.
other people that want to just get away. I don't play regular joints. I
Mm-mm.
play, you probably haven't heard at least 75% of the music that I play on the stream. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
So we tap in and just go to outer space and just get away from this broken planet for a
Yeah.
little while.
But that's the other thing that I love about what you do, man, is you introduce music to the listener, man. You give the backstory. You're educating people, which is, as someone who curates, as someone who tries to provide a platform and do that same thing, the way that you do it, I think is so amazing. So I guess just giving you your flowers, man, for
Uh,
what you do, even with that platform.
Word up. Yeah, man. It's personal, man. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people say, business never personal. All of my business is so absolutely personal.
Mm, mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I care. I have a responsibility to direct and to lead, and I do my best, man. I bump my head on the wall once in a while, but I feel like I've done a pretty good job
Yeah.
just sticking to the script and showing people that you gotta just ride it till the wheels fall off.
Let me ask you this, bruh. You've been doing it long enough, and I think enough people are aware of who you are that I know that the story has been told. But I wonder for you at this stage, because I'm right there with you, bro. I'm in my fifth decade on the planet as well. Do
Right.
you at this stage look back and the question that I'm sure you've been asked a million times in terms of speaking of what you just talked about, feeling that responsibility for what you're doing, looking back and assessing for you where you feel like that comes from, like why do you feel that drive to do what you do the way that you do with the energy that you do it?
Because no one else is gonna do it.
Mm,
That simple.
yeah.
Like no one else is gonna do it. Like when I left Detroit,
Hmm.
no, I took care of the city. I never traveled when I was in Detroit. I
Yeah.
never cared about DJing somewhere else. We do this shit here.
Yeah.
We got to hold down our community here, and rest. God bless Proof and Dilla. It
Hmm.
just got too much after that. Like I had to. It's funny because I've always said that like I held the city in a much higher regard than I did myself, and it just became time for me to do something for myself.
Hmm.
But I'm still out here taking care of everybody. And you know what I mean? It's the same damn thing.
Yeah.
So that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
just
and I
got
guess
I just You know
Sorry.
what I mean? I got to come to terms with it. Like, this is what I do. Suck it up, homie. Just keep pushing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like when it's a part of who you are, when it's a part of when it's in you, it's not something that you turn on or off. I get that. I
Yeah.
get that. And as the times change, you navigate who you are through those times, but you're still you, which I think again is commendable. You mentioned him. Can we talk about Dilla a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like I said, we're recording this in February, and it's such a beautiful month for a lot of reasons, and I really believe in perspective. You know, there's for as much of the ugliness and negativity that exists on this planet, there is a lot of beauty, and we get to make a choice as to what we do with that. And so as we celebrate Black History Month, which is an opportunity to celebrate people of color, Black people specifically, and their contributions. And you think about the contributions that Dilla has made to this art form that I love, and you being such a integral part of that inner circle. I can only imagine the emotional ride that it must be for you when this month comes around and seeing so many people celebrate him in different forms, in different ways, or just even mentioning
Right.
his name. Where are you at
Right.
right now?
With all that,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, Dilla month is 12 months a year. You know
Word.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And Black history, why is it the shortest month of the year? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
come
man.
on, yo.
Yeah, man.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, but I mean, there's a lot of I don't try to concentrate on the negative once again. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people that definitely big up themselves in these situations
Mm-hmm.
when it's all about bigging up the homie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's definitely been an incredibly rough ride
Mm-hmm.
over the since I left Detroit. There's been a lot of things that have gone down, a lot of situations. Read the book.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
If y'all ain't read Dilla Time, we're not gonna go into it completely right now,
Mm-hmm.
but I've kind of been blocked out of a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I've been boxed out. Like, people always call me the Dilla dude, and now the Dilla dude is boxed out of all the Dilla shit. So
Yeah.
there's rough days. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's definitely a very triggering month,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I just try to rock with it how I rock with it.
Yeah.
We do we do what I do over here. Last year, I've always wanted to do this thing that I did last year on Twitch,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I played all of the beat tapes in sequence. Chronologically, starting with a batch from '94 that nobody's ever heard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of these Dilla fans it's gotten really, really corny to me because they act like they know everything
Mm-hmm.
and they don't know it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you see comment like, "Oh, he made this beat on the MPC 3000."
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Nah, bro, like that beat's from '94. He didn't get the." They just talk like they have all the facts.
Yeah.
Even with the stream I did last year, like, somebody re-edited the whole stream and took me out of it and reposted it.
Yeah.
And they're like, Shoes is talking over all the beats. It's like, yo, man, this isn't my music to give away to you, homie, so you can make your YouTube videos.
Right. Right. Right.
That's why I stripe the shit out of everything that when I play it. Like, I did a mix a few years ago called Treats, and I striped the shit out of all that. And people complain.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other option? The other option is, how about you could just not hear the shit at all ever?
Well.
Like, there's no gratitude in me letting you hear things that you've never heard, and then you want to remove me from that and put your name on it when you have nothing to do with anything. Just sit in the top row of the stadium and eat your popcorn. Like, there's a reason you're not on the court, homie.
Yes. Yes.
There's a reason you're not at practice. You're not. Like,
Yeah.
just be a fan.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Yeah. I can imagine how tough that's got to be when yeah, I mean that just sucks. I mean that's just you just it just sucks, bruh.
Yeah.
His influence on hip hop music in particular is, I mean, it's been said so many times. It just changed the trajectory. For me, from a production standpoint, hearing Dilla was like the first time that I heard Rakim from a lyricist standpoint. Like, just totally
Absolutely.
changed the trajectory of of where we've
It's
gone.
like the first time I heard hip hop, period.
Word.
That's what I liken it to, because the first time I heard hip hop, I was in the 5th grade,
Mhm.
and I was like, "This is all I need."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then meeting Dilla in '94 and having a platform at St. Andrews Hall every Friday, I
Mhm.
crammed that shit down people's throats.
Yeah.
And everybody acts like they rock with it. A lot of people didn't like that shit. They wanted to hear their records getting played on a Friday night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I literally would tell people, "Hey man, get a beat from Jay. At least I'll play your instrumental."
She's a fool.
Got keep it a buck though. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Transparency. I'm
Yeah.
ultra transparent. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Nah, I feel that, bro. I feel that. That you know, I'm so, bro, like the energy, I can just feel the energy. I mean, it comes from within me to a certain degree this year, to the fact that we are celebrating 50 years of hip hop. Like I'm so excited, man, because again, I'm old enough to remember. I was just talking to somebody recently. I'm old enough to remember when black radio stations would not play rap music. We're only going to play soul
Absolutely.
and R&B and gospel, and
Yep.
as a from a larger standpoint, it's a fad. It's going to go away, and now it is the most
Right.
valuable, like from a currency
The
standpoint.
greatest influencer ever that has been created. I
Exactly.
tell people, and I've been telling people this for 20 years.
Yeah.
Hip hop took over the world,
Yeah.
but then the world took over hip hop.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
100%. 100%, bro.
Yeah.
So with that, with the label, with the things that you're working on, I know that we're excited for Formula One to be here and looking forward to what you and Mike and Keys are going to continue to do. But in 2023, are you doing anything with the label or personally in terms of events or sets looking at hip hop, the 50th anniversary?
I definitely need to. I just need to clear some. I have like a few tables that are full of plates that are full. You know what I
I
mean?
do. Yep.
And I just kind of tapped out of all that because LA is a funny place, and I
Mhm,
used to have like some venues on deck, but like all that shit kind of went left over
mhm,
like the last 5 years.
mhm, mhm,
And yeah, we're definitely gonna do something. I definitely want to do something in Detroit. I want to do something in LA.
mhm,
I'd love to do something everywhere, but
mhm.
where are the budget's at?
Right.
You know what I mean? What's
Yeah.
your budget? I don't DJ for grocery money anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've definitely pulled out of those spaces unless it's like a really good homie, like we'll do a trade or something.
Mhm,
I DJ at Largo
mhm,
in Hollywood a
mhm.
few times a week, and that's not a breadwinner thing, but it's a wonderful venue. It's like the intersection of comedy and music, and like a lot of comedians will go there before they tape a special just to sharpen up the set. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a very creative space, and everybody from the valets to the owner are some of the greatest people you will ever meet.
Yeah.
Even to the point where they're like, you don't play for the crowd. You're not allowed to bring your computer.
Mhm.
You got to play records, and they don't want to hear typical shit. They want
Right.
to be educated. They're like, you play for staff and management.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a whole nother level. It's just a whole nother level.
Right.
Which is cool because I mean that just goes to what you describe. I mean it is an event. It is
Right.
something to really celebrate the art, which I think is dope.
Yeah.
Um Once again, people can cop the vinyl right now, Street Corner Music, they can cop merch right now.
Yeah.
DSPs, they'll be able to stream Formula One on the 17th of January. Um, but then
February.
February, sorry, February.
Yeah.
But then there's just this whole other catalog of music that is available that people can tap into via the Street Corner Music Bandcamp, and
Yep.
there's just so much content and so much art that you've put out there for us to consume. If people are like just wanting to tap in, where do they start? Like, where would you say, okay, this is, start right here?
Ah, man, The Gift. So we
Mhm.
started the series with we started the label with a series called The Gift, and that was kind of like beat tapes that I kind of handcrafted from homies that I respect whose names don't ring out like they should.
Mhm.
Um, Definitely jacked mad Blue Note album covers. It was a very but I'll tell you something, like the most fun out of doing those first 10 records was figuring out which cover, because it's all math based with the
Yeah,
characters and the text that
yeah,
would have to be on there for the album that I'm putting out, and getting those puzzles to fit exactly. Like Raj Mahal
Mm.
and Lee Morgan, the Sidewinder, the Gift Volume 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like finding those covers when it fit, I'm like, yo, this is gonna be crazy. You know what I mean? Like, or the EXT with the Cannibal Adderley cover, like that
Mm.
was so enjoyable for me. And I
Mm.
hate math. So that's one thing in my life where I'm like, man, I love math sometimes.
Right, right. Okay, so tapping in with the give, and then I like asking this question just to see where people go with it, man. So I know that when you're creating, my wife and I don't have children, but people always say, you can't really pick a favorite. But for someone like you who has released as much content as you've released, do you have a favorite?
It depends on the mood I'm in that day. It's like someone asking me my favorite Dilla beat. Like
Mm,
I got 50 favorite Dilla beats.
yeah.
It just depends on what the weather's like. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
Uh, if I got in an argument with my girl that day,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, I love. It's like it's definitely there. These are my children.
Yeah.
These really. I have 82 children right now,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's just Street Corner. That's not talking about like other records that I may have done production on or helped assist on. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Maybe a better question would be: is there of the art that you've created, is there anything that you look at and you say, "Man, that's the thing that I'm most proud of"?
Let It Go.
Mm,
Probably the only record that I'll ever release because I stopped making beats when I had kids.
yeah.
Um, and I like making these records is a very, very similar kind of equation as when I made the beats.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, I lost it. What was the question?
Just that, of the art that you've created, the thing that you're
Oh
most
yeah, yeah.
proud of.
Let it go. Let it go is an album that I put out. Man, almost 11 years ago now.
Mhm.
Shout to my man Chikara at Tress Records.
Mhm.
He believed in me. Shout out to everybody that was involved. These are all personal relationships. There was no cold calls. Every feature on that record is a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Once again, it's very personal.
Yeah.
Everything business always personal,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's just a snapshot of the interludes. You know what I mean? Like there's a story. Like I'm heavy on interludes from I love Pete Rock records when I was growing
Yes.
up because the way he wove it all together with the interludes and man, there's still moments on Let It Go that bring a tear to my eye. I got like little pieces of my son talking when he was like 1 year old or
Mhm.
something. When you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I want to. When I was making beats, it would be one of two things. It
Mhm.
would be either uh, I'm making something that makes you want to punch somebody in the face, or I'm making something that is the complete opposite side of the spectrum that makes you want to open your chest up and be like completely vulnerable and tell somebody some of the hardest times or the most, you know what I mean, that
Yeah.
you went through in your life.
Yeah.
Super emotional, like, or, you know, getting your face punched in.
Yeah. Is there any drive again with the creatives that you surround yourself with? Is there a drive to 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 start making beats again?
Oh, you broke up a little bit.
I was gonna
Is there
say,
a
is
drive?
there a drive for you to start making beats again?
I've been itching. I'm not gonna front,
Yeah.
but it's not gonna happen in this little 1 bedroom apartment. I just need space. I need space. Once I start, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I pull out the MPC maybe once a year and I just load beats up and just listen to them.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. That's what's up, bro. Chopping up with house shoes, man. Listen, I once again, I can't say thank you enough for taking time to jump on and just talk a little bit. I'm so again grateful for your contribution through the creative process, through the platforms that you've created for other creatives to put art out for hip hop. I think it's you know I know that it can be a thankless job, uh, but once again, man, just want to let you know that you are appreciated for the work that you've done and the work that you continue to do, and the plans that you've shared. That the art that's continuing to come. I just want to say thank you, brother.
Hey, I'm just as grateful for you giving me your platform, bro, because at the end of the day, this shit is still pretty much a secret. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do, bro. They got hip hop in Portland. Yeah, yeah, for many years.
Right, right. Right, absolutely. No, so very, very grateful, bro. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. And listen, well, we gonna circle back and do this again when the next one drops.
Word up.
That's
Yeah,
what's up.
next up is 25 years ago. Me and Elzai made a tape
Oh, word,
called Out of Focus.
word.
We were not trying to fucking change the world. Nobody would give him any beats.
Yeah.
I had just started kind of making like some kind of good beats.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
had got the 3000 and I was working on it, and it was lightning in a bottle. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's finally, I got the test press over there, so it's a lot. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's got to wrap the art up. I had an idea for the artwork where we're gonna do like an eye chart
Uh-huh.
on the cover.
Uh-huh.
A few people have done that already, and
Yeah.
it just seemed kind of sterile. So I've just got the final idea in my head. Like I said, very heavy-handed, the artwork, everything. Even if I have someone else execute the artwork, they're doing exactly what I tell them to do.
Got you.
You know, it's a formality almost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what I want to do is I was Googling like vintage eye charts and
Mhm.
like Renaissance era frames.
Oh, word.
So it's gonna be like a dusty old eye chart, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
from like the Middle Ages or something in this beautifully ornate frame on the front. It's gonna be crazy.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. Okay, definitely looking forward to that one dropping. Street Corner Music is the label. House Shoes is the DJ. Bro, you are all over the place, but let people know how to tap in with you.
The easiest way is just Instagram, probably.
Mhm.
House Shoes on Instagram, Street Corner SCM on Instagram. I'm not really on Twitter anymore. I just kind of send messages over there from other socials.
Mhm. Mhm.
Twitch, Mondays and Wednesdays, Twitch TV / Shoes House, mixcloud.com/house shoes. Mixcloud is basically a platform, kind of like SoundCloud, but for DJs to put the mixes up. I've got over like 150 mixes up there. It's the best music you've ever heard in your life. Anything else? Yeah, streetcornerscm.com, streetcornermusic.bandcamp. But once again, just tap in with me on IG if you're curious about anything. People think that I'm like the most unapproachable person. I am so approachable, but just be careful how you approach me. You
There
know
it
what I
is.
mean?
There it
Because
is.
all the drama that I've gone through in the last 10 years has been from people not approaching me in the right manner.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If you approach me in the right manner, it's going to be great. We're off to the races. But if you come to me with disrespect, I'm going to give that shit right back to you, very heavily multiplied.
Hey, yo, man, the warning has been given, right? Ladies and gentlemen, DJ House Shoes. Appreciate you, brother.
Klyph, appreciate you, brother.
No doubt. Yeah, yeah. Big ups to House Shoes for coming through, man, and chopping it up, spending some time, telling some great stories. That was really an honor to be able to chop it up with him, man. Make sure that you go check out streetcornermusic.com. So much great content over there. The Mike and Keys project. But then the back catalog is pretty amazing. Grab yourself some merch. And of course, like you said, man, be on the lookout for some great new music, man. That Elzai story is pretty dope. Excited to see what's coming from that, man. Thank y'all so much for listening to the Klyph Notes podcast. Remember, you can listen to it wherever you listen to your podcast, man. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast, like literally everywhere you listen to Audible, except Tidal. But we working on that. You can tap in with me at DJ Klyph, at DJ KLYPH on social media. Hit up the website, djklyph.com. Be sure to be able to be sure to catch me every Saturday night on XRAY FM with the Welcome to the Neighborhood radio show, where you get to hear music from Street Corner Music and as well as some other amazing artists, literally from all over the planet. Every Saturday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can tap in with me on the Numberz FM in Portland every weekday, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. with just some dope music. And then you can check me out live on stage with DJ Ambush every fourth Sunday at the White Eagle Saloon. We just playing joints, man, with no requests. Just that's the name of the event. I mean, we don't take requests, but that's the name of the event. No requests every fourth Sunday at White Eagle Saloon in Portland on North Russell. It's just a head bobbing, situation, man. So come through, enjoy some dope music, and then you can also tap in with me for Klyph Notes Live. And just an opportunity to have a conversation with some amazing creatives, but then also a chance for you to talk to them with the Q&A, and then a little performance for you as well. Also, be on the lookout for some other great things that are going to be happening this year in 2023 as we celebrate 50 years of hip hop. All right, y'all. Till next time. Peace.